Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Derek Ledwith from Strive. Today, we're going to go over why we count macros here at Strive and why do we make our clients, when we go through nutritional coaching, educate them on how to count macros. Macronutrients, we'll end up learning throughout the 6-week program, is all about proteins, carbs, and fats, healthy fats. And that is what makes up most of our meals. Okay, that's why it's called macronutrients. The micronutrients are more of the vitamins and minerals and stuff like that, the small little stuff that's in all the different foods, and that is the smaller percentage. We're not really going to go through that, just mostly because if we're focusing on the bigger stuff, we can sort of come up with that equation. That's all it really is it puts an equation in there so we can keep track of it. Instead of just saying that food is bad, that food is good, we can become a little bit more flexible into what gives us those percentage and what is going to get us the best results. Every single diet out there, whether it's keto, paleo, if it fits your macros, obviously, the carnivore diet, anything like that, all of those end up being just basic percentages. So there are different ways to go about macros. Macros are not a diet. It's a tool to help you get the results and help you become flexible and educate yourself on what you're doing day to day. So the main reason, mindful. It makes you mindful of what you're putting into your body. If you have a sweet potato and you log it and you feel complete crap an hour later, but if you have rice, another carbohydrate, and you feel great, energized, have rice, don't have sweet potato. You wouldn't really know that unless you actually log that stuff. Also, it helps us become a little bit more mindful of the different percentages. Okay, so now all of a sudden, we can see the difference number-wise of a hot dog and a piece of chicken breast. One's going to get you, the energy and the results you want. One does not. One you might like a little bit more. One you might not. But which one are you going to choose to get your results? And we can do that because we know exactly what we're putting into our body and what it's actually doing to our body. So it helps us become mindful of what we're doing. It puts control in our hands. Okay? Counting macros is a math equation. So it puts control into our hands. Most diets, they end up failing long term because when you're off that diet or off that meal plan, you have no idea what to do. And so you revert back to what you were doing before because you just don't have any control. And so you are basically dependent on something else, on someone else. Counting macros educates you on becoming independent. So it puts control into your hands, okay? And that is going to be huge for the long term. It helps us adjust, okay? Especially us as coaches, treat it like a doctor's visit. Okay, if you're food logging and everything like that, and you know exactly what you're doing, and you just have no idea how to fix it, you bring it to us. We look at it, and now we can be like, oh, okay, well, your breakfast is a little bit off, so let's add XYZ to your breakfast and make it great. So we can always adjust accordingly, and that's because we can see the different percentages, we can see the different numbers, the amounts, the grams, and so we can adjust it so that we make the plan around your lifestyle instead of fitting your lifestyle around a specific meal plan. Okay, so if you don't want breakfast, don't eat breakfast. Okay, we can fit everything else along the way as long as we get that final result. Don't want to have 6 meals? Don't have 6 meals. Have 2. We can fit it around your lifestyle so that you can sustain those results and keep on going long term instead of just restricting yourself to a specific meal plan. Okay, so that is going to be huge as well. The last thing is the biggest one, and it helps us become flexible. All right, we can live our lives while still hitting those numbers. Okay, if you want that cupcake, log it, put it in, and you can still get great results. Maybe your day looks a little bit different than what it usually is because you had that cupcake, but you can fit that in. You can fit in ice cream with your kids. You can fit in pizza night with your family, going out to dinner with your spouse. Okay, so when we start doing this, we want to think about the macros as your bank account. We'll talk about this again when we start talking about food log, but it's your bank account. So if I give you a whole bunch of money, say $1 million, and you buy 2 Ferraris, well, now maybe even though you have those Ferraris, maybe you have to buy a smaller house. Maybe you can't go on vacations because you have those 2 little things, those 2 gigantically priced things. Instead, Maybe you buy a different, smaller car, less price, and now you can have a little bit bigger house. Maybe you can go on a couple vacations. Maybe you can buy a couple toys for your kids. Okay, and so you can learn to spread it out. That is the same thing as nutrition. If I give you 200 grams of carbs and you have pizza and cupcakes and stuff like that in one meal, and that's your breakfast, well, now all of a sudden you have like zero carbs to go through the rest of your day. So now you might be limited to egg whites, celery, and a salad because you spent it all on that one. Now that's fine. That's what you end up doing. You might feel like crap later on, but that's the choice you end up making. Instead, you might have a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and it goes over the long run. You feel a little bit better. But that's how you become a little bit more flexible into your diet. You can still fit in all the good stuff, but you have to be held accountable. And that's where the macros end up helping out because there's just an equation. Overall, realize that there is a learning curve for this, and that's what the 6 weeks are all about. Okay, so it is a learning curve, but in the long run, working and doing a couple of homework, a little bit of stress on trying to figure out will go long run to where you don't really have to log anymore because you're living mindful. Okay, and that's going to be huge to try and do this during this program.